Iran boldly throws down the gauntlet to President Trump after its reported strike on the USS Lincoln carrier group in the Persian Gulf. Iranian Parliament Speaker Ghalibaf warns that deploying U.S. troops will not stabilize a war already spinning dangerously out of control. Iran signals close surveillance of every U.S. military move as Washington contemplates a fresh buildup in the Middle East theater. The U.S. rushes over 1,000 additional troops to the region, even as Iran dismisses ongoing ceasefire initiatives as insincere. Ghalibaf cautions that U.S. soldiers risk becoming victims to Netanyahu's persistent policy delusions in the protracted conflict. Iran's parliament speaker issued a cautionary statement to the United States regarding its planned troop reinforcements in the Middle East, underscoring Tehran's preparedness to counter escalation through resolute defensive measures. Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf asserted that additional ground deployments cannot rectify operational shortcomings attributable to U.S. and Israeli command decisions. Ghalibaf indicated continuous Iranian surveillance of U.S. military repositioning as Washington organizes further personnel transfers to the theater. The advisory coincides with Associated Press reports confirming at least 1,000 troops dispatched as part of incremental force augmentation initiatives. Ghalibaf characterized the initiative as fundamentally ineffective, contending that infantry presence fails to compensate for prior strategic miscalculations in the campaign. Ghalibaf further cautioned that American personnel risk entanglement in what he termed Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu's unrealistic policy expectations. Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf said, and I quote, "We are closely monitoring all U.S. movements in the region, especially troop deployments. What the generals have broke, the soldiers can't fix. Instead, they will fall victim to Netanyahu's delusions. Do not test our resolve to defend our land." Unquote. Ghalibaf's remarks followed IRGC rejection of a proposed U.S. truce framework, citing unacceptable stipulations that undermine Iranian sovereign interests.
Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim.
In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. The strategic power that you were talking about has turned into a strategic failure. The world's superpower pretender, if it could have been freed from the predicament, would have been by now. Do not call your failure an agreement. The era of your promises is over. Today there are two fronts in the world, right and wrong. And any free-spirited rights seeker will not be seduced by the influence of your media waves. Has the level of your self-conflict reached the stage of negotiating with yourself? There will be no news of your investments in the region, nor will you see the previous prices of energy and oil until you understand, stability in the region is guaranteed by the powerful hand of our armed forces. Stability through power. We clearly declare, until the time comes when we have the will, no situation will return to the previous order. This will be created when the thought of taking action against the Iranian nation is completely erased from your dirty minds. Our first and last words from the very first day have been, are and will be, no one like us will get along with anyone like you. Not now and not ever. And there is no victory except from Allah, the Almighty, the Wise.
U.S. force posture adjustments include redirection of USS Tripoli amphibious assault ship and attached marine elements from Indo-Pacific assignments. These reinforcements potentially incorporate up to 5,000 Marines complemented by expanded naval support personnel integrated into regional commands. The 82nd Airborne Division from Fort Bragg, North Carolina, receives orders for Middle East deployment to bolster contingency response capacities. Stationed at Fort Bragg, this elite airborne unit specializes in rapid insertion into unsecured zones for airfield seizure and lodgment establishment. Parachute-capable formations train extensively for contested environment operations securing vital terrain and aviation infrastructure. Deployment magnitude reflects preparation across operational spectra, encompassing non-combatant evacuation through sustained combat engagements. These movements parallel Trump administration assertions of active diplomatic negotiations with Iran aimed at de-escalation pathways.
Are you going to send Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff to do direct negotiations with the Iranians?
Yeah, well, we're in negotiations, as it turned out, and now you've seen what I said yesterday was exactly correct. We're in negotiations right now. They're doing it along with Marco, JD. We have a number of people doing it, and the other side, I can tell you, they'd like to make a deal. And who wouldn't if you were there? Look, their Navy's gone, their Air Force is gone, their communications are gone. That's the biggest problem. It's very hard to communicate them between themselves. All of the anti-aircraft is gone. Most of their missiles are gone. We either shot them or they shot them and don't have them anymore. They're down to a trickle. Pretty much everything they have is gone. I don't know. Can you name one thing that's not gone, or can you name one thing that's doing well? You know, if you read the papers, you think we're tied. You think we're in a tough battle. We are roaming free over Tehran, the city, Tehran, as opposed to Iran. We're roaming free. We can do whatever we want. And as you know, today we were going to have the privilege of shooting down a very big electric generation plant, one of the biggest in the world. And one shot to the right location ends the plant, it collapses. And we held off based on the fact that we're negotiating. Yeah.
What do you think was the turning point to make you want to pursue a ceasefire? A few days ago, you said you wanted to continue bombing Iran. Now you want to pursue peace talks. Was there something that happened?
The fact that they're talking to us and they're talking sense. And remember, it all starts with they cannot have a nuclear weapon. Just, I said yesterday, they said, what are the top 10? I said, well, number 1, 2, and 3 is they can't have a nuclear weapon. And they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. And we're talking about that. And I don't want to say in advance, but they've agreed they will never have a nuclear weapon. They've agreed to that.
President, are you encouraging our allies in the Gulf to be more involved in the Iran operation?
Say it.
Are you encouraging our allies in the Gulf to be more involved in the Iran operation?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit, but more NATO. I think our Gulf allies have been pretty good, to be honest with you. UAE's been hit so hard. He got hit by 1,400 rockets, shot them all out of the air with our great Patriot missiles. Think of it, they shot 100 missiles at one of our aircraft carriers, the Abraham Lincoln, one of the biggest ships in the world, actually. And out of 101 missiles shot, every single one of them was knocked down in the sea. Think of that. Think of what that means. 101 missiles, highly sophisticated, very fast missiles shot. Out of 101, all 101 were shot down, and now, for the most part, lie at the bottom of the sea. And pretty amazing, right? Pretty amazing. Our military is amazing, Pete. You know the attack I'm talking about recently? 101 shot. I said, wow. I saw that. You can see we have sort of pretty good equipment that we see. It's called the red line. Those red lines were thick, right? I said, that's a lot. And then we saw them one by one just get shot. And these guys that do the shooting are the coolest cucumbers ever. Most people, you don't have a lot of time. When a missile's going at 2,500 miles an hour, I don't care how far away it is, you don't have a lot of time. But I watched them sit down and think. Great students, MITs, a lot of MITs, a lot of guys like this. They're not as much into the muscle as they are this one right here. And amazing to watch them perform under great pressure, because they have a matter of seconds to do it. If they don't do it properly, it's a big problem, because these were powerful. These were very powerful missiles coming. And so a lot of people choke. They don't choke. These guys don't choke. They're the best in the world. We have the best in the world, yeah.